Hello everybody, Nerd in Texoma here. Got kind of a random video today. Been kind of struggling with what to do per se, and I just decided to go with this. Today I've just got a random sampling of different Transformer figures that were close to me. They're close physically, not necessarily close like personal meaning to me. Some of them do have a little bit of meaning, but I'm not going to go that way. All right, well, today I will start off the video with G2 Onslaught. Now, yeah, he's missing all of his accessories. The posts are broken off in his back, so he can't have his backpack cannon or big cannon in vehicle mode here. Now, I don't know if I'm going to transform every figure. Transform some of them that are easier to transform and stuff like that. Being a G1 figure, Onslaught is a brick. I mean, that's him. He goes from the vehicle, armored, or not really armored, but some sort of military vehicle, and he just, two arms fold out and two legs come down, and he's got the little back leg part where the wheels go, and that's him. Not very posable. He's old, he's a G2, so a little floppy, and you can get him to do like that, but from being a figure from like 92, yeah, get a little floppy. Now, G2 was I guess you would say, a marketing thing, because originally the colors were not this garish, yellow and purple, kind of yellowy orange and stuff like that. G2 was the height of the 90s. In the 90s, things were very bright and colorful and all that, and G2 capitalized on that. You had characters getting re-released in wild and crazy colors. The Dinobots were originally mostly like gray, silver, gold, black, a little bit of red, kind of more muted colors, even though it had some variation in them. Yeah, G2 took the Dinobots and replaced the colors with basically everything that was gray or silver was either blue, green, red. We had characters that got re-released in neon colors and stuff, all basically the same as their G1 counterparts, just very brightly colored. And Onslaught here is the only G2 close at hand for me to show y'all. Now, speaking of the Dinobots, This here is a Megatron. Sorry for that. This here is a Grimlock figure. I was looking at a Megatron figure over here, so yeah, we'll get to him later. But this is a third-party there I go again. I've got Megatron on the brain. This is a third-party Grimlock figure. What third party is it's a company other than Hasbro or Takara or one of the companies that they officially license out Transformers to. An independent company will make a figure that looks like a Transformer figure. They can't name it that because, if they named this Grimlock, they get sued by Hasbro and Takara and all of them. So they make a figure that looks like it, but is slightly different. It's you're not going to find a real Grimlock figure that looks like this. Yes, he has an Autobot symbol right there in his chest. That was put on by me. Again, third parties can't do stuff like that because it'll open them up to a lawsuit. But, you've got a figure that looks like Grimlock and people are like, oh, hey, that's Grimlock. It's not, but it's close enough that legally they can get away with it. It still transforms into a dinosaur, a T-Rex. Looks pretty darn cool in my opinion. That's why I got it years ago, because I thought it looked pretty freaking cool. And I'm going to go ahead and transform him right now so y'all can see. Now, third-party figures do not follow the same quality standards as Hasbro figures or Takara figures. So sometimes they're a little fidgety. I'm not going to say the least quality, but they're not the same level of quality in making them. So you have to be more careful and don't do it in a rush. Don't transform these figures in a rush because, well, things will break and it won't end very well for you. And I'm trying to remember just how to get this Grimlock transformed. He's a little bit different again because he is a third party figure. There you go. Had to flip things around that I'd forgotten about. Like I said, third parties are, in my opinion, sometimes they can be very great figures because you get a figure that Hasbro and Takara have forgotten about, have no plans of ever actually releasing, or they have sometimes figures that Hasbro and Takara have released, but they're either so rare in the distribution that you'll never get them, or so expensive, or they're just kind of meh looking. So this is Grimlock transformed. And you can see he's got a lot of shiny bits. He's got the chrome arms, chrome on his feet claws here, chrome tail, all that. He looks just like Grimlock, has the opening mouth. The only thing is, you can see here these arm claws are kind of funky. They look a little weird, but that's okay. Again, I've added an Autobot logo on his chest there in Dino mode. Yes, I know it's a little off center, but it's from my personal collection. And I think he looks pretty darn cool. Can't remember if his feet are supposed to have the two claws in front or just the one. But that's a little third-party Grimlock figure. Looks pretty darn cool in my opinion. Like I said, that's why I got him about 5 or 6 years ago, I think. It's about $13. I got them off of AliExpress, and from what I understand, this is actually an oversized version of another third-party figure. So one group made a figure and he was a little small Dinobot like that, small Transformer. And then another company came in and said, blew it up. All right. Well, speaking of Megatron, here we have one of the numerous Siege Megatron repaints that came out. And this is one that you can see here on like his legs and a little bit on there and everything. He was made with plastic that yellows are actually browns over time, and what can you do? Personally, since he's battle damaged and got his scratches, got his holes in his chest plate there, I think this adds to the figure because it kind of gives him that dirty look, like he's been out, seen some shiz, as we'll say. He's been out in battle, he's beat up, he's not gotten to repair himself properly. I am not going to transform him, but I think he's a cool figure. I've got a couple of the different Siege Megatrons. Not easily to where I can get to them all, but I know I've got this one. I've got the regular Siege Megatron. I've got the cel-shaded Siege Megatron that was part of a Walmart exclusive line. And speaking of the Walmart exclusive cel-shaded figures, I've got the Siege Optimus, which is one of the Walmart exclusives that I picked up a while back. Long while at this point. You can see he's got the paint job and stuff like that, like he's cel-shaded, and what that is to make the figure look like he just basically came off of the comic book page. As far as I know, there was never a Siege comic book ever of any of these figures, or of any figure at all. But yeah, we've got the cel-shaded Siege comic book version, which I think is, if done right, cel shading can look very cool, very awesome. If done wrong, it can look like you just Put some random streaks on the figure. But yeah, cell shading is definitely a cool thing, in my opinion. Again, I think it should be done more on action figures, especially such as Transformers. Do it as a store exclusive, put it as a Walmart exclusive, Target, Amazon, whatever. So if you really like it, you can pick it up and not have to pay a customizer hundreds of dollars sometimes for a figure like this. All right, sticking with the store exclusive versions, we have the Netflix Sideswipe. Blah. This was another Walmart exclusive figure, which you can see he's kind of got that dirty, like, kind of exhaust kind of caked on his sides and stuff like that type of paint job. Got some, I guess you'd say, battle damage, but not like the Megatron, with actual, scrapes and holes and stuff like that. So yeah, this is another mold that has been constantly being redone. There are numerous Sideswipe clones. There's, of course, this Sideswipe. There's the regular one where he's a nice shiny red. He's been resculpted into his Earth mode, so there's a nice shiny red on that. There are different characters that are repaints of Sideswipe that he's been done in those. He's actually been remolded into a DeLorean for the Back to the Future crossover Transformer figure. This is not his original gun. This is a reproduction gun that I've picked up. I think it looks pretty cool on him, so that's why I gave it to him. All right. So we have here Blaster. This is the Earthrise Blaster. He's been repainted into twin cast. I believe there's a shattered glass version of him. Now this one I did add in these blue kind of reflective labels there because the original G1 Blaster had some blue labels right there on his shoulder, and I thought that just added a nice needed color break on his lower half here. Not really lower half, but lower torso portion. It's just a little sticker that I got. It was like a dollar clearance up at Dollar General, some accent stickers or something for your scrapbooking, but I thought it looked pretty cool, and I thought it would look pretty nice there on Blaster. Now Blaster, yep, come on, there you go. He does eject a tape, and he does come with a tape. Now this one I'm being careful with because it's clear plastic. And a lot of people have reported that he's already started breaking and cracking and stuff like that tape. So I always get them mixed up, which one is the blue character and which one is the black character. It's either rewind or eject. I always get them mixed up. But for the repaint of Blaster here into Twincast, they actually released him with the tape and released him in black. So it would be the other character. It's like Rumble and Frenzy. You know, people will sit there and like, oh, that's Rumble, that's Frenzy. Well, it can be either of them pretty much. But in my opinion, Rumble is blue. Take that for what it is. All right. Then we come to this one, which is a knockoff of the Combiner Wars leader figure of Megatron. Now, obviously, a leader figure would be much taller, so he's been shrunk down to, I'd say, about Voyager size. You know, pretty much. Not counting these shoulder bits here. You know, but you can see he's roughly the same height as Blaster. Roughly the same height as Prime. Roughly the same height as Siege Megatron. Now he's a little bit taller because, you know, he's got skinny and lanky legs. But like I said, this is a knockoff, so he doesn't have the official Decepticon logo. He's got some weird thing. Again, that's so the makers of the knockoff don't get sued. They still do often, but, you know, less likely. Now, he's a pretty good one, but these parts here on his lower arm that cover his fists when you go into tank mode, they have a tendency of popping off and being a little bit tricky to get back on. Problem with that is these are where, you know, the port is to attach the cannon onto his arm in robot mode. So if that pops off, yeah, you're going to have a weaponless Megatron. I mean, I think this figure's pretty good, pretty decent for what it is, being a knockoff. Like I said, aside from those arm covers popping off fairly easily, Speaking with the knockoffs and keeping that up, we have what I call, and many call, the shampoo bottle plastic knockoff. Now, Transformers, you know, usually are of a harder plastic. These are made from basically shampoo bottle level plastic, which is very soft and flexible and stuff like that. But these are oversized knockoffs of Transformer animated Bumblebee, repainted into a different character, which I think is cool, and has a different faction logo on them. It's not really Decepticon, not really Autobot, nothing like that. Being out of a cheaper plastic, you can see he's a little bit more floppy, but I think it's a pretty cool figure. The arms actually stay up pretty well. It's just that knee joint right there is kind of loose on that leg. It's a little bit firmer on this leg. And as such, we have Beachcomber. Now, this was made actually not from a Transformers Animated, because there wasn't a Beachcomber in Transformers Animated. This was actually out of a Legends mainline figure from back in the day. And, I mean, detail-wise, again, I think pretty cool. Got a different set of weird faction logos. Got a different paint job because Beachcomber is always either blue or he was a green in Generation 2. Again, it's that cheap plastic. This one's a little bit firmer, where he's not as floppy, but it's hollow. Has nothing in his head here. But I think it looks pretty cool. They actually went so far as to paint the fists, which sometimes knockoff makers don't do that. They're trying to make the figure as cheap and as quick as possible. And lastly for today is a figure that is not a Transformer. You're going to be like, what? It looks like a Transformer. Well, it's not. This is a Diaclone figure. This was dang near 50 years ago. One of the Transforming Car or Robot series figures made in Japan that was later imported to the United States to make Transformers from. Now, this is an actual Diaclone figure over, like I say, over almost 50 years ago from Japan. You can see that little sticker on him there. Well, not really too well. He's got like a sticker at his elbow, stuff like that. Now, I'm sadly missing a fist, but I do have his other fist and his weapon here. This figure would later become Inferno in G1 Transformers. And like I said, I was lucky enough, fortunate enough, years ago to have a friend who sold me some of his Transformer collection and included some of these Diaclone figures in that collection. And yeah, this is pretty darn cool. Like I say, looks just like a regular Inferno from G1. Doesn't have the rub sign, doesn't have Autobot symbols or anything like that, because this is a Diaclone. I mean, it's in really good shape. The tires haven't cracked or anything like that. It's really cool. Got the little, I guess, shoulder wings or something up here. But yeah, this is a very cool, rare piece, because I mean, anything that's 50 years old, stuff like that, you're going to be either not having it in this good condition, missing like lots of pieces. There's very minimum chrome and paint wear on this figure, so he's really cool, really special, in my opinion, special to me. So All right, well, hope y'all enjoyed this random Transformer rambling. I've gone on long enough, so I will catch y'all in the next video. All right, later, guys.